Hi, welcome to the
Time
Vaguely
on the board.
Anime Podcast.
Yeah, not so much, buddy pal. Not so much.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast.
Where
I am one of your hosts, Michael.
Mike.
And you're the other host, Sage.
Why are you like this?
Because there's no difference.
I guess that's fair.
I still started. It can just start that way.
All right. Clean opening.
Yeah, well, look. They got to know that nothing's perfect. You know? Well, I know we seem like the stewards of perfection.
Oh, surely.
We have no bad takes.
Never.
We
all have perfect, flawless taste.
Yeah, we're all Superman.
Yeah.
We can't do wrong. We're the best of us. And but sometimes the people got to know that there are levels.
There are levels.
You can't always be Superman.
We got to keep ourselves humble.
Yeah. So, we fail on purpose. And we keep it in to make it look like we're humble. Because as we all know, I am a steward of humility.
Yeah?
Yeah. A bastion of gratitude.
Gratitude?
Sure.
Okay.
Anyway.
So I just started playing Breath of the Wild. I know you already finished the game.
You mean Tears of the Kingdom?
Yes, sorry. Tears of the Kingdom.
I was like, oh, great. So we're going to wait 7 years for you to actually start Tears of the Kingdom.
No, so I started it.
And you've been in the tutorial for since the game came out.
No. So I'm out of the tutorial now. I started getting towers.
I did every single tower before even doing the first mission.
Okay. Well, I live a chaotic lifestyle, so I'm doing like 3 missions at the same time. Because they all kind of require you to go around the map anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I might as well do them while I get the towers.
Yeah, like, once they were like, hey, go do that first tower, and then they, like, lit up all the others, I was like, I'm going to go do those now.
I was really annoyed, though, because I didn't know I had to, like, have somebody tell me to do it. So I was like, oh, cool, there's a tower. Let me go to it. Got all the way there, and then I was like, how do I make it work? And then Mark is like, oh, just climb to the top. Maybe it's like the old one. So I climbed all the way to the top. I was like, there's nothing here. So then I went back down, and I was like, what the fuck? So then I was like, how am I supposed to... I don't know how, but somehow the game got me to another point where they were like, oh, yeah, go do the towers. And I was like, oh, okay. But in a previous section, you know the, like, old little lady?
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing the geoglyphs?
Mm-hmm.
So before...
She's not old.
The one doing the geoglyphs? Isn't she like 1 foot in the grave on death's doorstep old? She's like 3 feet tall.
There's the old dude who is old.
Oh, maybe it's a guy then.
And then there's the lady who's also very short but not old. And then there's the old lady that used to run Kakariko Village. So which one are you talking about?
I think I'm thinking of
there's only one old lady.
The old lady that used to run the village.
Okay. They're not in that central like fort that they built, right?
No, she's not in that.
Okay.
She's like off of some stable. That's where you first find her, at a state, like just off of a stable.
Oh, then it's probably none of those people.
Okay, it's just an old ass lady, and
Sure.
she's like, "Hey, help me with this. Fix my hot air balloon." And I'm like, "Gotcha." Then I got in the balloon, and she's like, "All right, you can go back down with your paraglider. I'm gonna stay up here." And I was like, "Wait, I don't have the paraglider yet. Fuck."
Okay.
So I was like, "Okay, we're just gonna jump to our death, and hopefully it doesn't reload to me back in this stupid air balloon." And it didn't, so it was fine. And then I went and got my paraglider.
Why did you opt to jump to your death?
Where else was I supposed to go?
Anywhere else?
No, I didn't even have fast travel yet because this was like literally before I got the first tower.
Right.
So I was like, now I'm just trapped up here with this old bitch.
Okay. I guess.
So that was my fastest exit route. I was like, just jump to my death.
All right. Yeah, so before I did the first mission, because you do the tower and then you go talk to Pyrrha, however you say her name, who's hot now.
I know. I was really taken aback. I was like, wait, why did we give her a sexy design?
Well, she figured out her aging thing.
I guess.
She was a child, and then she fixed it, so now she's a hot 20-year-old.
Yeah, I guess.
And you're like, all right, well, if the Zelda thing doesn't work out.
I got a backup plan.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you talk to her, and she's like, hey, don't forget, you can go do those other towers. And I'm like, I already did them all. And I
Yeah,
already have
bitch.
14 hearts, so. Like I did a bunch of shrines before I did anything. Like I was literally just like, all right, I'm gonna go do everything.
Yeah.
And then I got a bunch of hearts and was like, all right, I'll go do the main story now.
Do you ever up your stamina?
I upped it to 1 bar,
Oh, okay.
like 1 full bar.
Right.
So now I have 2 technically,
Right. 2 circles.
but hearts. Because stamina really, if you're smart enough about it, it doesn't really come into play all that much.
I
all that
also
much.
feel like compared to maybe this is just the way I travel because I'm like, okay, what's the shortest route to get somewhere? And it's always like climb this fucking mountain. And I'm like, all right.
Well, yeah, but like you can find little spots to like.
Rest on and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. But
I'm just really good at doing that.
yeah, so usually like in the previous game, I think I like spent too much time like worrying about stamina. And this game, so far I haven't done my stamina at all. I'm like,
The only thing that I think required stamina in general in the first game was the towers.
yeah.
Because
you
for
did
some
have
of
to
them you
climb.
kind of needed more than just the base.
Well, couldn't you climb up to like the resting points, and then for that last stretch, you can always make it on that final jump?
Yeah, but there was like some where I feel like it was like you could do it, but some of them were like cutting it close, and you're like, if I just get a few more, fuck, I don't
Right,
have to
a
deal
little
with
more
this.
like
Yeah.
quarters or whatever you
Yeah.
get each time.
But yeah, I think that like with this game especially, I got 1 full bar, and then so without spoiling anything, there is. Well, all right. So you know how the Master Sword in the first game, right? Like you needed a certain amount of stuff to get it.
Yeah, I think you needed like 10 hearts to
Right.
pull it out or something.
So no spoilers, but there's like a similar mechanic, right, in this game.
Right.
And I had stumbled upon it and was like, I wonder if I could do it now.
Right.
So I did.
Yeah.
Turns out, skipped a bunch of story stuff
Great.
that I can't go back and watch. So I had
No.
because that's like, you remember in the last game when you would go to certain areas and take pictures and it would
Right.
spawn
You get like the
memories?
memories.
Yeah. So those memories in this game are tied to missions.
Oh.
And I skipped all of them
But
because
you-
I did it so early. Because
But then you can't go back and do the mission?
I could do one of them.
Oh.
All of the other missions required like the quest, but I had already finished the quest.
So you can't, so you don't get the prompt to do it. I understand.
Yeah, like I got to the part in the story where it was like, "Hey, go do the thing to get the thing," and then it was like,
All right,
"Quest,
good job. You
here
did
go.
it. Complete.
complete," and I was like, well, that's probably fine. And then I was like, I'd beaten the game, and I was like, I wonder how I got those. How you're supposed to get those memories? And I like looked it
Yeah,
up.
in the geoglyphs.
Yeah, and
the
I-
teardrops.
And I looked it up, and it was like, yeah, storylines. And I was like, fuck.
Well, I think you only get 11 from the teardrops, and then there's 7 more because it's 18 total, I think. Which so far I'm really enjoying how they're balancing out, like, because when the game was first announced, I didn't like. I think I watched the trailer that they put out, but that was it because I was like, I don't want to spoil myself, right?
Right.
Because I wanted to see how they would have this, like, the Sky Islands, and then like, because at first I thought it was gonna be all flying based essentially.
Right.
But I like the way that they have like the balance between the two. Although I did play myself, so I went to Rito Village because there's a tower that's relatively close to there, and I was like, oh cool, I'll do that. But then I got sent on this like fucking quest to do the sky ship. And I was like, okay, we can just do that along the way. Oh my god, I didn't realize how involved it was. First of all, wait, just listen to what I'm saying.
It's the main story.
Well, so I started doing it. We're going up, And then we get to the skyship, and this is right before you get to the skyship, like, I don't know, 10 levels before in terms of like your climbing. It goes from like, oh, you're cold, now you're unbearably cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh shit. Because I was thinking to myself, oh, cool, I don't need to worry about having like cold elixirs. I got cold clothes on. I'm good to go. I didn't realize it was going to get so cold that I would die.
That you needed 2 of them.
Yeah, like the double cold resistance. Yeah. So I had one more, and I was like, can I finish all of this in 12 minutes? Probably not, but that's all I got, so let's go for it.
Guess who also did it that way?
So I was like,
I didn't have any money to buy any of it, so right. I just made cold resistant stuff.
So I was like, all right, let's go. But then I was rushing so much that you know how like sometimes if you're like rushing too much, you can't like think critically. So I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. So I was wasting so much time just running around. And then, of course, because I had done it like too early in the game, I had like no weapon storage, so I could only hold like 5 fucking things. I had like 4 hearts at the time because I had done it so early in, and I was like, I don't have the skills to manage with just this right now. So I was like, okay, can I leave and come back? Which I could. So I left, but then when you get like, if you fast travel into like Rito Village's like section of the map, that bird pops up and then she just follows you, even if you're not going towards the destination that you're supposed to be going to. And then if you hit like the border of it, she's like, where are you going? We're supposed to be doing this other thing.
So I'm pretty sure it's a he.
Oh, I thought it was a girl bird.
I'm pretty sure it's a he.
Oh, well.
I'm pretty sure it's Rivali's son.
Who knows? Not me.
Fairly certain.
Oh. Thought it was a girl bird, but you might be right. You're probably right.
I'm pretty sure it's Rivali's son.
So yeah, I was just like, all right, I gotta fuck off because I don't have like any stuff. I don't have any like I don't have enough like weapons inventory. I don't have enough hearts for this bullshit. And I had no food. I only had like materials for food,
right,
but nothing cooked. And I was like, well, this really kicked me in the butt. And Mark's like, oh, eat that. It gives you cold resistance. I'm like, yeah, it only does it if you cook it. The number of times I had to say that, where I'm like, you have to cook it.
Right.
Cause
yeah, it's
what's weird is he every time I play like
Tally is a male.
Okay, like 90%.
Whatever.
90% of the time that I play, I'm playing with Mark because he just likes to watch. But I'm convinced between times that I play, he forgets every single mechanic in the game. So he'll be like, do this. And I'll be like, you can't do that. And he's like, just try it. I'm like, I know you can't. And he's like, just please try. I'm like, all right. And then he's like, oh, that doesn't work. I just said that.
That would annoy the shit out of me.
Oh my God. It is incredibly irritating, especially because like he doesn't get that like the powers, especially like the grabbing one where you can like build stuff. You can only have like so much reach. So it'll be like, hey, go grab that item that's like 30 feet away from you. And I'm like, I can't reach that far. I get like maybe 10 feet maximum here.
Right.
And he's like, no, just go grab that item. I'm like, I can't reach it.
My favorite thing is to just brute force break puzzles by just like, which I say break. Realistically, the way I have to imagine like the way that when people make these certain types of mechanics in game is that you're not really breaking the puzzle because you're still using the things that they give you.
You're just fast moding it.
Yeah, you're just not doing it the way they want you to do it, but you are doing it in a way that they have given you the ability to technically do, which is just like grab all of these items. So there was one puzzle that I was doing. It's like basically the entire area is like moving sand. It's in the desert. It's one of those temples.
Mm-hmm. And
you're supposed to get to like the second part of the temple, and you step on a pressure plate, and the like ball that you need to open the room to the end of it like drops down and then gets shot across the map, and you're supposed to go all the way across the sand and get it. I didn't feel like doing that. So I like there's platforms that are floating down the sand and that will go like through the wall and then respawn. Right. So I just made a wall of those things as they kept going by, stacked them, put them in front of where it was supposed to shoot the ball, and so that when the ball dropped, it shot and just hit the wall and just dropped down on the floor, and I just walked over, picked it up, and dropped it into the thing.
You're like, fuck this.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to do this puzzle. I don't want to figure out what any of this has to do with anything.
But I guess it's not really like breaking the puzzle, because I've noticed like certain things, I feel like you can solve it in multiple ways. I feel like some puzzles, like, yes, there's absolutely like there's only one way to
Right.
solve it. But other ones, because I feel like I really am out here solving them like in the most stupid, like head empty ways, where I'm just like, all right, let's just try this and hope for the best.
Yeah, but it was really fun. Now I've just been going through and doing like kind of like the mindless shit. Like, have you been to the like? Because you said that you were at the chasm. Have you gone down any of those chasms?
I'm trying to think. The only chasm I went to one. Which chasm did I go to?
Like, have you gone down any of those big holes?
Yeah, I went down one, but I don't remember what it was now. Did I? A big
Was everything
hole.
dark?
Don't you start in a big hole?
You start in the sky.
No, I know you start in the sky, but isn't it? I feel like fairly on I was in like a super dark area. Like the caves?
Yeah. Like where like it's all dark and you fall down like an old man. You're supposed to like go talk to him.
Oh no, I don't think I've done that then.
And like it's just like a vast open area.
No, I don't think I've done that then.
Really? You haven't seen those giant holes and just dove down them?
I don't think I've seen the giant holes yet.
They're literally everywhere. You have to pass one to get to Pura.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't believe you.
I mean, maybe you're right, and I did. I don't know. I didn't follow any old guy down a chasm.
Well, that's one of like the early quests is you can just go and you like fix a balloon and they go down and they're like, all right, follow them down.
What? Oh, also these fucking little shits that give you the golden poops. The ones, there's so many where
seeds, yeah.
They're like, oh, I can't catch up to my friend. I'm getting so irritated
Yeah.
with these motherfuckers. I'm like, can't I just launch you to the friend?
I will say that there is kind of an interesting thing about some of those because everybody has been crucifying them and murdering them and whatnot as retribution for Breath of the Wild. But in Tears of the Kingdom, there's a slightly an interesting thing, which is that like people have noticed that they're like they recognize some of the spots that you had to do certain seed missions for in the first game, and like if you had to in the first game, like there was like there was a rock at the top of a hill and you're supposed to push it down and get it into a hole like golf,
right,
and that got you a seed. And somebody, the video I was watching, they were like, I'm standing here, like, you know, figuring out. I was like, oh, hey, this looks like something that would give me a seed. Wait a minute, I recognize this area. And it was like, it was one of those areas. And he's like, and where's the rock? It's not where it used to be. And it goes down. It's in the hole that they had pushed it down in the last game.
Oh, that's funny.
So you're supposed to then go get it and bring it back up.
That's so funny.
So, like, some of them have, like, canonically, Link did all of that.
Right.
And got all of those things. And yeah, but I was hoping that, like, I think everybody when they first saw the first teaser for Tears of the Kingdom that like Zelda might have like followed you around through the game and like I don't know, like there was just like a bit more like dynamic going on.
But is there ever real like
in any game now,
that's
except for Tetra?
Because I was gonna say I've obviously only played through one, but in previous games, is there ever like a dynamic duo kind of thing with them?
Only in Wind Waker. And that's kinda. Like she's around more often because she's following you around.
Right.
But
I'm trying to befriend a dog. How do I befriend a dog?
you can't.
Damn it.
The closest you get is like
at Staples, you can get them to like you,
Yeah.
but you can't get them to follow you around.
No, that's somebody's dog.
But I want a dog.
Well, sucks to suck. You're Link. You don't get shit.
You can get
You
a
don't
horse.
get laid. Your girlfriend keeps dying.
Yeah.
And you just have to constantly save people and never talk.
I was gonna when it's that like opening portion of the game, that like cutscene that like explains like how this happened, right? And you're like in Hyrule Castle, and Zelda's like, "Oh, look at this extremely ominous and dark area. Let's check it out." I'm like, you're causing all the problems, lady.
Well, but it was killing people.
True.
So, like, they were like, hey, we're the heroes of the I'm the queen, you're the hero. Like, we got to go check out what the fuck's going on.
And then because Link never talks, Mark was like, I wonder what would happen if they ever gave him like a voice.
They did that in the 90s.
Really?
Yeah, there was an awful game and show.
Uh-huh.
It was awful.
Oh, what kind of voice did he have?
Well, you've heard people probably could do the, excuse me, princess. That was him.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. For some reason in my mind, that show is not like real. Because I've seen it, like clips of it and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
the game was that show, too.
Oh, because I've seen clips of it and it just seems like it's fake.
Nope. It's real. It was canon.
Oh.
Well, not canon, but it was real.
It existed.
Yeah.
I just thought it was some like shitty, funny, like
Nope.
fan.
Nope, it was real.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, that's real.
Why?
But I don't think they ever really, because he does technically talk, because he makes the motions, and then people are
Right.
like, oh, okay, I understand what happened. So like he does talk to people. I think that they're just always gonna keep him a silent protagonist, because it's like
I mean, it makes sense
this
to
point.
do it like that.
the one thing I will always be annoyed about though is that the Wii ruined Link.
What do you mean?
Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game.
Okay.
Well, Breath of the Wild probably is now, but whatever.
Before that, Twilight
Yeah.
Princess.
But the Wii fundamentally fucked up Link, because Link has always been a left-handed swordsman.
Oh.
But on the Wii, because it was motion
right.
censored, people during testing felt it was weird that if you were right-handed with the motion,
that
you
you're
were
left.
swinging left-handed.
Right.
So on the Wii, they made him right-handed, which all they did was actually just flip the game. They didn't actually change anything code-wise. They just mirrored it.
Right.
But
Has he-
since then, he has been right-handed.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey, yo, where's my lefty fucking
Representation.
representation? Like, hey, like he's like the only person that's like ever been a lefty in anything.
Gotcha.
And we lost it because of the fucking Wii.
I wonder if, because you know how like Link has been in all the Super Smash Bros. Does it change in that too?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Because he became a righty swordsman.
That's so funny.
They made him right-handed.
Wow.
And I'm still salty about it. So, like, you know, playing Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, I'm like, you should be fucking left-handed, you son of a bitch.
I wonder if they could like make that an option, or is that like too much?
It would be unnecessary. Why would they do that?
I guess.
What they should do is just go back to him being left-handed, but
Yeah. Why didn't they just change it back after?
because
They were like, who cares?
Yeah, they were like, well, I guess he's righty now.
I guess.
Because I think the Wii U is technically still kind of motion censored, and the Switch
But
can be.
But the Switch, if you're playing it handheld, or even like let's say you have like the Pro controller, yeah, you can like view stuff or move certain things like depending what you're doing with it, but not in terms of like fighting.
Yeah, I will say they have optimized this game insanely well for the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was in the camp of like, this thing's gonna fucking blow up my Switch when I go to play it. I've had zero problems.
Same.
But the Switch has a fundamental problem, which is that it's too limited. Because like it is really inconvenient to use any of the I won't explain more, but any of the Sage powers, very inconvenient to use. because there's not like a button map to them.
Oh.
Because there's not a lot of shit going on. So like
Right.
they have to make it like simpler. So you have to like run up to the certain things, and during a fight, not convenient
Yeah.
at all.
I'm sure.
And then like aiming when you're trying to aim the bow or trying to aim the camera, like there's no like the analog sticks don't move precisely. It's like you're here and then you're there. You're not. There's no motion.
Right.
It's just there, and you're like, I need to get that right in the middle because I'm trying to fucking point a location for myself.
I don't know. I feel like I don't have a problem, especially if I'm like lining up a shot for like a bow and arrow. I feel like that I've never felt was like not.
I run into that issue a lot, but obviously you can also just like Z target for enemies. But like if you're not in combat with them and you're trying to line it up beforehand, or I don't know, it's just like some things would be more convenient if Nintendo wanted to be a little bit more of a serious console. Like, maybe that's not the right way to phrase it.
Well,
but like, it feels like if I were playing a game like Tears of the Kingdom on like an Xbox, it'd be optimized so much better.
But
Not in the way the game plays, but in just the features they give you. I feel like they would map them better.
within like the limits of the controller.
Right, of just like, oh, hold LB and then you can use these face buttons as a different thing. But like it's like they, I don't know, they use all the buttons, but I just feel like they could use them in a different way to be able to get more of the stuff to be more convenient.
Right.
I don't know. It's just
Because on like either if you have like the Switch controllers, like the two little ones, or like let's say a Pro controller, compared to like an Xbox or PlayStation, do those ones have more buttons, or they just have like a better?
No, they don't. They don't have any more buttons. It's just like a way that they tend to optimize games for the Switch. I feel like they don't. At least when it comes to like Tears of the Kingdom and whatnot, where it's just like, or maybe it's more of a function that they thought it'd be more fun that way,
Right.
or more engaging. But I'm like, hey yo, I'm in the middle of a fight and I cannot be looking for these people. Like I need to be able to just hit a button and hit Y to activate this person's power. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to be trying to find them in the fight of 30 people.
Right.
And stuff like that, and like especially because it's like an AI based just you know, an NPC running around. It made some of the boss fights such a pain in the ass because they'd get hit too and be moved, and it was like, bro, I just need you to activate the power so I can do the damage, and you're fucking getting hit by this thing because you're running around doing whatever, and I need you to be next to me so I can do this.
Oh my god. So the bird, when you're going up to the sky ship, this was making me so fucking angry because it for the most part the bird will follow you around.
Yeah, that's the only one that's like convenient because
But-
you jump and you're gliding, he'll be right there and you just press A.
Right. But then if you like, let's say you like take a couple of steps up onto like a platform or something, he won't follow you up. You have to go back down and be like, come on, let's go. And then he'll follow you up. It is the most irritating thing.
Yeah, but if you jump and start gliding, he'll automatically go to you.
Right, but I'm saying not when I'm trying to glide. Like, where was
I
I
mean, he doesn't
that?
help you any other time. I will say his power seems.
No, because if you're getting attacked,
Oh yeah, but
he will help you.
Yeah, but like, I feel like he doesn't do much, so I never really bothered giving a shit if he was there or not when it came to combat.
I guess that's fair. I felt like he was useful.
Like, because every other like thing, person's thing is helpful during a fight. His isn't. He's there and he hits things, but like, I'm just like, all right, well, I don't need you here right now.
Right.
Because so the order I did them in was Bird People, Gerudo, Zora's, and
Desert.
no, Rock People.
Oh.
Gorons.
Gorons, thank you. I was like, I don't know what the rock people are called.
Yeah, Gerudo are the desert people.
Right.
I did them second, and boy, did that fucking temple suck. It was so hard.
Was it?
I found it to be real, like, stupidly annoyingly hard. Mostly because of the fact of how you, like, in the same way that you're like, I'm trying to climb up this thing and Rivali's not fucking, or what, Thule, whatever the fuck his name is, Tulin, is not following you. She would, her fucking AI brain was so annoying. Like, it would never be near. That's where I'm like, I wish this was a button that I could just fucking activate.
Right.
Where I'm like, oh, I have to worry about you getting hit by this fucking attack too. But, like, you won't run with me. You'll just keep running and standing in the fucking way and then cancel the thing.
But what happens if they get attacked?
For them, it, like, there was like a certain attack that, like, would be like a kind of area of effect attack. And it would, like, knock them back so it would cancel out their thing when I'm trying to use it.
I see. That seems extremely annoying.
And like, yeah, it was annoying. Like, and because I know some, like, in the first game, there were some that were, like, harder if you did them earlier on or not. So I maybe the Gerudo one's supposed to be the hardest one because I didn't have any problems with any of the others. All the other ones I found pretty fucking easy.
I can't even remember what order I did it in the first one. I think I did the water one first.
I think I did that second to last.
I think I did the water one first, then the bird, then the camel, and then the lizard.
I think I did.
Oh, the water one was an elephant. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think I did bird, camel, elephant, lizard. I think I did the Gerudos last each time. Actually, I think I did it in the same order each time. Which was not intentional, but I think I did it in the same order each time.
Neat.
But yeah, the Gerudo one fucking sucked. I was having such an unpleasant time with that one. Like, especially because the way it's, like, formatted, some of the hits were so hard to block. Like, to get the right angle on the thing. And, like, there would be so many enemies that, like, it would lock onto something else, so I would get hit.
And you're like, no.
Yeah, so there's certain stuff like that where you're just like, all right, motherfucker, like, come on.
Oh, great. That means I'm going to struggle.
Oh, absolutely. Or not. Maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like whenever it comes to, like, boss battle fights, it takes me a while.
But overall, I thought the game was fine. And the only time I struggled after that was the final boss fight where I was just like, just kept getting my ass kicked. And I was just, I was getting so upset. I was, like, so annoyed. But I also learned that I'm just stupid partially. Like, it is hard. But I was also making it harder because I didn't realize I could heal the certain type of damage that was happening. And I was like, motherfucker.
Is that like the gloom?
Yeah. I didn't realize you could heal that.
Yeah.
I thought you were just fucked.
No, they have, like, you could make, like, an elixir.
Yeah, I know. And you can also make it into food.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I guess I skipped whoever I needed to talk to about that.
Oh, I didn't. I only know that because I got some of the, like, flowers or whatever it is you make it out of.
Yeah, the Sunderlines.
Yeah, and it says, like, use it for gloom.
That.
And I was like, oh, I don't know what this is yet, so I'll just save them for now. But now I know.
Yeah, guess who didn't read that?
I
just would grab.
I
stuff
also
and
assumed that the gloom was like the ominous red misty.
Yeah, that stuff that surrounds big holes. You haven't seen any of those?
Oh, yeah, I did see one. Okay, you're right. I saw one, but I didn't go inside.
Okay.
Because I thought that the misty would hurt me. Because you know how in
Yeah, it's not everywhere down there.
Oh, okay. Because you know how in Breath of the Wild, if you go like into like when you go into the castle and they have like that purple red like slimy stuff and you can't like walk into it, so I assumed it was going to be similar to that.
You can walk into it, but the longer you stay into it, the more the gloom effect hurts you. But it's just like I didn't realize that I could heal that because I just didn't read any of the stuff. I was like, oh, cool, new thing, moving on.
I read literally every single thing unless it's something I already knew about in like Breath of the Wild. Every new item I read.
Regular plants, I just kind of assumed that they were the same from the first game because they're just fucking regular ass plants. I'm like, what's gonna change? Apparently, a lot. But yeah, so I was just like, I was fighting the fucking final battle, and I'm like, what do I do? I'm just screwed. I got fucking 3 hearts left. Like I can't heal this damage. And then I was like, I was getting really annoyed about it, and I was like going through all my items to like be like, there's gotta be a way. There's no fucking way they didn't make a thing that you can get rid of this with.
Right.
And I'm like going through, and it was like Sunderlines help cure gloom, and I was like, motherfucker! I've been sitting there for like 3 hours trying to fight this guy, and then I'm like,
foolish mortal.
and like I was like already down where I needed to be, and like so there was no place to cook any of the stuff, so I needed to use some of the Zonite things. I only had like 3 of them, so I had to like. So then I was able to heal it, but I only had 3 dishes in which to be able to heal the damage. So I had to use them really strategically.
Right.
Yo,
I got like 60 fucking Zonai cooking pots.
Yeah, no, I did not have that.
I have so many.
They're useful when you need them.
Yeah, I have so many cooking pots, fans. I got fans out the ass.
Yeah, So I did beat him like 4 tries after I realized I could do that. It was still hard because I was like, I needed to really strategically use the dishes.
Right.
And
so can you
not
come out and then go back in?
I could, but there was no quick spawn back, so I had to go through a lot of stuff again.
Oh.
And so like then I would just risk getting hurt, and I had full hearts at the bottom.
Because I feel like at the end of Breath of the Wild, when you're in Hyrule Castle, if you needed to come out and then go back in, I felt like it was really easy to.
It's a lot of traversing for getting down to like where the final area. Just like
and there's no like shrine that you can just like pop in and out of. Unlucky.
Yeah, but luckily, the like final part is way easier than the beginning part.
Also, I know. You know what's funny though?
In the Breath of the Wild, it was like the same thing.
Yeah, like the end part, because you know how like
the stages of boss fights.
You have the fight, which I felt like the first one was really hard, and I was like, oh, thank God. And then like another one happened after that, and I was like, oh my God, I just spent so much time like doing all this, and I was really upset actually. I was like, how could they do this to me? Pulled the like rug right under my feet. But then like because what was it, like 3 stages?
Yeah, the first 2 in this game are really well, the first one's like fine once you get the timing right. Second one's really annoying. And then the third one is just, well, that's easy.
Yeah, like that's how I felt once I got to that third one, because I think it was just like you had to shoot like light arrows at like certain locations.
Yep.
And I was like, why is this weirdly so easy?
Yeah.
Although
similar kind of thing where you're just like, well, bam.
Although because I am a dum-dum on that third one in Breath of the Wild, I kept trying to like run instead of be on the horse.
Why?
Because Mark is like, go, just run. And I was like, what? Okay. So I started running. I was like, there's no way I can get all of this in time. And then finally we were like, fuck this, just get on the horse.
Why was your first choice to run?
I don't know. I'm a lunatic.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, also because I'm really bad at horse riding.
I will say the horse riding is annoying in the game, but I wouldn't say it's
every
bad.
Horse I have obtained so far in Tears of a Kingdom does not like me.
Well, you know, you could, if you talk to them and you have the same save data, they just import your horses from the first game.
Well, I didn't have any horses in the first game.
You didn't have Epona?
I didn't have any horses.
You didn't? Okay.
Not one.
Okay. Sure.
Do you receive a horse?
I'm pretty sure you can just get Epona from like a mission or something. I don't remember exactly, but
okay. Well, I never received a horse, so. Although the first horse I got in this game, I had to give it to some girl for her stupid ass cart.
Yeah, I did that way late, so I had like 30.
Oh.
I was just like, here.
It was
actually, what I did was I just went and got a random horse and then brought it to her. And I was like, I'm not gonna store this. I'll just give it to you.
Yeah.
But
is there benefits to having like different horses?
I just use Epona because it's the best statted one. So.
What's Epona?
It's Link's usual horse.
Oh, where do you get that?
I don't remember. I haven't played the game. I haven't played Breath of the Wild in like since.
Oh,
it
this
came
is
out.
only in Breath of the Wild.
I assume. I don't know if it's in Tears of the Kingdom.
I see.
But Epona's his like his usual horse. It's like that's his horse through the games. I don't remember exactly how.
I don't know.
Yeah. But
Oh, actually, I do have another question about the horses. So if you're
Uh-huh.
going somewhere, right, like you're riding on horseback, but then you get to a part where the horse can't come with you.
mhm.
If you go away from the horse, does the horse like auto go back to the stable?
Technically it's like in the world, but like they don't die.
No, I didn't imagine that they died.
You just summon them. If you go to another stable, you can recall them and then you call them back.
Gotcha.
But this is also one of those games where this is the same problem I have with like Red Dead Redemption 2, which is you get too far away from your horse and then you can't call it because you're too far away. And I'm like, motherfucker, at some point get rid of the realistic part. Like I should just be able to call my fucking horse from wherever the fuck I am, and it should just be able to spawn somewhere.
Right.
Like spawn it out of my periphery, like it ran up the entire way and now it's here. Like I just. How is it convenient? How is like why would I want that level of realism where it's not going to show up for me when it's like convenient?
when it's like 20 feet too far away.
Like it's just like come on, man. Like I just want to be able to call my horse from wherever the fuck I am so I can get around faster. Like
Can the horses swim?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. They do a good job going like up pretty steep hills though.
Yeah, I mean for the most part I didn't even bother googling the horses because like I'd have to go somewhere and then I couldn't call them again. And I'm like, oh, fuck it, whatever.
Right.
So like it was just fast traveling and flying and stuff for me like all the time.
Yeah, I really like in this game when you go, you can keep getting yourself like flown up out of the towers, and then you dropping from that like super far height.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that because I like in Breath of the Wild I would jump off the towers to like glide down somewhere.
Right.
But you're only getting so much height off the ground, so realistically you can only glide so far based off of that.
Right.
But in this, you're going from so much higher in the air. Love it.
Yeah,
I'm also just pretty good at gliding, so
Oh, are you?
yeah, that's actually one thing I'm actually fairly good at.
How do you be bad at gliding though?
No, I just have a good like judgment for like, okay, I have like X amount of space before I face plant into the ground.
Gotcha.
Although Mark and I were in a shrine and we're looking down at something, he goes, "Oh yeah, just jump into the water." Right? Because if you jump in the water, you don't get any fall damage. And I was like, okay, so I jumped, and then you just see Link face plant into like concrete, and we were both like, "Ooh, that was not water."
How do you fuck that up?
Because we were like looking from through something, like those like grates that have like the texture, so you can't like really tell what's underneath it. And Mark was like, "I'm pretty sure that's water. Just jump." Owie.
Way to go, champ.
Although one time I did try to like land into a pond, and I landed slightly out of the pond, and then I died.
Proud of you.
Yeah, not one of my finer moments.
But yeah, I think the game is incredibly well optimized. I'm surprised how well it works and how many things they have in this game that work with just 16 gigs. Like it is a 16 gig game, and the amount of physics that smoothly work in this game is insane. I have no idea what black magic they did to make this shit work, but they pulled it off.
Yeah, I feel like because even when if you're standing on the ground and you look all the way like the most up you can look, you can see all like the floating islands and stuff. Like I don't know how like development for games works, obviously, but I can't imagine that's like easy to do, to have that like constantly there.
Yeah, and it's a lot of just like the physics stuff where it's like the bridges that you're like supposed to pick up and then like connect in like in the shrines and stuff.
And you can
like,
build whatever you want essentially.
Yeah. Like people have been building some insane shit. People have been building like hybrid machines where it alternates between your personal batteries and the batteries that you can use as like Zonite devices.
Right.
Where like it switches between them when one runs out and lets the other recharge and then activates the other one.
That's incredible.
And like people have been making drills and like all this shit, and you're like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, no, that's not me.
yeah, no, I'm very basic in my construction.
Although I have been seeing like, because I feel like, first of all, how could you not see this happening? The second you give like people free reign where they can like make whatever they want, essentially. Like, so I've been seeing people make like really stupid shit.
Yeah, well, the famous TTP, time to penis, which is how quickly when you give somebody this ability will they make a penis.
Yeah, I feel like for Breath of the Wild, the game came out. I went on Twitter. A
Here's the
penis
thing.
had been made.
But yeah, it was just like immediately. Just like, oh, hey, I can put things together. Dick.
Yeah, you gotta. Like somebody I saw on Twitter made like essentially like a walking robot thing, but it was all like out of wooden planks, so it
Yep.
was really flat and just had like a hanging dick.
Yeah, that's basically the default thing that people have been building. It's just like, why not?
Yeah, you gotta.
But yeah, like it's. I finally like recently filled out the.
How do I get the rockets as an item?
They're just around.
Oh, but you can't have them?
You can. You just gotta find the right dispenser.
Okay, maybe because the dispensers I've been to so far have only had the like basic things.
Just gotta find the right.
But
dispenser.
I've only been to 2, so then
yeah,
maybe that's
just
why.
gotta find the right one.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I finally like fully finished filling out the map of all the areas, and now I'm like kind of just going through fighting like some of the, like the mini bosses and sub bosses and stuff, and like they don't get me anything, so I'm kind of also like why bother at this point.
Yeah.
But because they're pretty fucking easy, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the only thing I'm having difficulty with is there's like an area that are like coliseums where you get waves of enemies, and one of them is just Lionels,
No.
and I'm like, I don't want to fucking fight any of you.
They're
And they're
really
all-
annoying to fight.
And there's like 5 waves of them, and I'm just like, so that's the one thing where I'm like,
No, thank you.
yeah, where I'm just not wanting to really go do it because I keep getting my ass kicked.
Yeah,
and,
that
and
sounds-
they all give you gloom too.
Oh,
so you're
yeah.
just like, yeah. So it's a pain in the fucking ass.
So it's like doubly annoying.
Yeah, it's just like I'm like, I just don't wanna. Like the dragons were way fucking easier. The Galox or whatever the fuck they're called, Gleox.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 3-headed dragons. They're just around the map.
Mm.
Like those things are supposed to be super hard.
Oh, I think I saw one when I was going past something, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this right now, and I just kept on going.
I got a Lionel bow which shoots 3 arrows at a
Yeah,
time.
I like those
and then
ones.
if you when every time it goes to break, I bring it to an Octorok so they can repair it. Because if you just drop it and they suck it in, they repair it for you.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They do that for anything, except if you've.
But I thought you can only do it
once.
once.
Well, you kill them and then red moons happen and then they come back.
Oh,
So you can keep doing it.
gotcha.
But they will level things up and give them certain attributes. So it gave it's given it ×5 instead of ×3. So I have 5 arrows, and I just put on the eyes because they
Heat seeking.
Yeah, and it makes those dragon fights so easy. You just get behind something so they can't hit you. You take out your arrow, you put on the fucking
Yeah.
thing, and it heat seeks their heads, knocks them all out. You drop, slam them, they start getting back up. You go behind the wall again, you just do it again. Like, it's easy. Like, so it's like it's not even a challenge anymore, and B, I don't get anything out of these except for like the monster parts that I don't need to use. So like,
Right.
what am I gonna do with any of it? So I'm mostly just doing like the stuff, like the Coliseum stuff, because you at least get like clothes and stuff out of it. But I'm like, I've kind of like I have all like a bunch of side missions, but I've done most of the things I really give a shit about. I'm just kind of doing it to kill time while I watch Inuyasha, because I'm watching Inuyasha while just mindlessly doing shit in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my god. So in Breath of the Wild, I think I have like maybe 20 more shrines to find.
In Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's what, 120 total?
Something like that.
Yeah. So I think I have 100 shrines. Every once in a while, I go back in there to be like, okay, I'm gonna find these other shrines. Holy shit! I don't know where the fuck these shrines are. I don't know where they have them hidden. There was one point where I was like,
You know, you could always just look them up at this point.
I know,
It's
but
been years.
But there's this one point where there's like a river that meets like not quite a mountain, but imagine like a really steep hill, right on either end, and it meets in a V.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how in that one you get like the shrine detector, so it keeps telling me I'm right there. I'm like, I have been going in circles in the same location, and it will tell me I'm right there. I'm like, where the fuck is this shrine?
I will say it. Shrine locations do get kind of easier in this game, just by proxy of there's a thing that like correlates to if you find X object, a shrine will be in the same area, but on the mainland. So you're just like, oh, okay, cool. So because they're easier to find, I think, and also if you just launch in the air and you see the green squiggles most of the time.
I was gonna say, I feel like they're really easy to see
Yeah.
from the air compared to. I feel like they were harder to see from the air in Breath of the Wild,
Yeah,
especially in the daytime. They were really hard to see.
yeah, but so I haven't had much trouble. That's kind of like what I've been passively doing now is going and getting all the shrines as just like a fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
But I've mostly done everything. I do wish that this game, because I always prefer when games like when you beat them, there's like you can play around in the world just after you won.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like nothing needs to really change. Just get a few more voice dialogues. Like, hey, congrats, you defeated the evil. Now
Right.
we can go back to fixing the planet again for the second time in like 10 years.
Right.
We just rebuilt all this. Now we got to do it again. Yay. You know, like, and like can get some more interactions, just run around the world as it's been saved.
Cause does it put you back to right before? That's what I thought.
Yeah, right before you did the last mission.
Right.
And I'm like, that's fine and all, but I always enjoy when games just like let you run around when you've won.
Yeah.
Because you get to see like what happened after the fact, especially if they don't make another game.
But is that like a lot of work to make that?
I guess it's a lot of work just in terms of
Like to make post game material?
Well, they don't need to make missions. The most of it would be just like, I guess, dialogue, little blurbs of just
Right.
like, hey, you did it,
Right.
kind of stuff. Like now we need to rebuild, whatever. But I would assume that'd be most
That
of
would
the
be like
effort.
the
unless they
extent of-
want to make something else. But like, because I guess. I don't know if we think that the moblins and stuff are all connected to Ganon or not.
Aren't they?
So like,
Isn't that the whole thing of like
Well,
the blood moon?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's like, hey, you won, so now that never happens again. So like, if you just assume it still kind of happens, like like then it doesn't really matter. So then like, you could just still have all that be there,
True.
But I don't know. I've always, that's just like a nitpicky thing entirely, where I'm just like I always prefer when games let you kind of run around after you won instead of right before the last mission. You're just like, okay, well, I want the cool. I want to see the people be like, yeah, you did it. You're the fucking hero,
good
man.
Job.
Yeah, but no, I defeated it, and all I get is a fucking star on my save file.
Wah, wah, wah.
Damn.
Sad.
Yeah, it's nitpicky, but
I feel you.
yeah. But yeah, so I've just been playing through while watching Inuyasha because that's been my lot in life at the moment. I am basically at the end of season 2 because Netflix breaks it into seasons. I don't think it actually was seasonal based.
I don't think it was because it was airing before like seasonal anime was.
Yeah, I
a
assume
thing.
because it was like 90s, so I just assume it's just one go every week or whatever.
It's just whenever they're putting it out, they're putting it out.
Yeah. But I'm on like episode like 40 something, 50. I'm about to have to watch the first movie
Oh, gotcha.
because the movies do happen between certain spots.
Right.
So I'm about to have to watch the first movie. And have you watched? I know we're like just
That's
finalizing, but
fine.
like, have you watched Inuyasha?
So I watched Inuyasha when I was a kid because it was on TV, and I remember when I was maybe like 7 or 8, Toonami used to play the movies and like the late night spots at like maybe like 1 a.m. or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, nothing more hype than like a Saturday night. Like you don't need to go anywhere because I remember in my parents' house we had this old box TV with built-in VHS player.
Mm-hmm.
and then this couch that was so uncomfortable because the cushions were like 70 years old and had no cushion to them, and underneath the cushions was a piece of plywood.
Okay.
Because it used to be like a pull-out bed couch, but they took out the pull-out bed part, but they didn't want to just leave a gaping hole, so they put plywood there.
Okay.
So yeah, so very uncomfortable. But you just put on like 6 blankets and you're good to go.
Right.
And so I would sit there, me with the 6 blankets. I was like 8 or 9. I would be watching this old ass fucking TV. And on Saturdays, because, you know, Toonami would run, I think it was like, what, 7 to 11 o'clock? Maybe even later.
I don't know. Never was a Toonami kid.
Oh, you missed out, dude.
We've had this conversation.
I know, but you really did. But so, and then in the like ads and stuff, they will be like, oh, here's what's coming next. And they'll be like, Inuyasha movie, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, let's fucking go.
But yeah, so where I am right now is, I'm a little after this, but the biggest thing that just recently happened was that Inuyasha has chosen Kikyo, and Kagome was really fucking depressed about it, and realizes that she does love Inuyasha, but she understands that she can't get in the way of him and Kagome. I mean, and Kikyo. So she's like, I understand. I still have feelings for you, but I will let you be with her, and that's okay. I just want to be next to you and make you happy. And I'm like, girl, no. Go fucking kick that priest's ass. She's dead already. Go for you. Like, yo.
Kick this ghost priestess in the butt.
Like, yo, she had her chance. She died. Sucks to suck. Get over it. You're here now, and you're better for him because you're actually alive.
What's
Who cares about what his original love is? You're her anyway.
Right? I can't remember his name. The other guy with the white hair and he has like the fur shawl.
Oh, Sesshomaru.
Oh my god.
Inuyasha's brother.
Yes.
Everybody simps over him apparently.
You gotta. When I was a kid.
Except he apparently marries a child.
Oh, well, you hate to see it.
Well, he befriends. The child starts following him around. You know, like Ren.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because they apparently get married.
Oh.
But like when she gets older.
Right.
But a lot of people, because Kieran was telling me about this, he was like, a lot of people in the community are like, everybody simps over him, but then they're also like,
he pulled a Jacob from Twilight.
Marry a child.
He pulled a Jacob from Twilight.
Yeah. Where it's like, you know, she's not a child anymore when you married her.
Right.
But she was like 12,
but it's
when you started hanging out.
But it's like a questionable grooming situation.
Yeah. But then you also get into that whole thing where like Kagome is 15 and Inuyasha's like 900 or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're like, where are we drawing the line?
Yeah,
here?
I feel that. I feel that.
She's 15. Rin was like 7. But like they didn't get married or anything because it was like never in the show. Apparently, according to Kieran, it was in the show. It was never like she looked at him romantically. It was just with admiration.
Right.
And then after the fact, they're like, by the way, they got married and had kids. And you're like, okay, well, that feels like it came out of nowhere because it was never that way. But okay. And you're like, Kagome, also like 15.
Do I need to rewatch Inuyasha?
Hey man, if
to
you
like
do, we
refresh my brain because I have like super sparse memory of Inuyasha because I did watch it when I was a kid and like.
If you do, we can have an episode about all of it.
I'll watch Inuyasha and then we'll come back and have an episode about it.
Because like everybody, it's like Kieran's favorite anime.
Okay.
And I remember the first time I was like, maybe I'll watch Inuyasha. He's like, dude, my favorite anime, don't watch it.
I tried watching the dub fairly recently, maybe like 2 years ago. Oh my god, is it grating?
It's funny because it's the only dub Kieran listens to.
Is it a nostalgia thing?
Yeah, so it was how he first watched it, so he can't watch it any other way.
That makes sense. It's like how I can't watch like Yu-Gi-Oh! In sub. I have to listen to the dub, even though it's.
But also, it's not that. It's just 90s. It's just like
I know,
Iron Reaver, Soul Stealer, and you're like, boy, that's cringy.
Yeah.
But you're also like. I'm listening to fucking Luffy go Gum Gum Pistol, so like whatever.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a thing with like 90s dubs is they either sound like oh yeah, this was definitely the 90s, or it holds up really well.
Right.
But those are far between each other.
Yeah. But like I couldn't watch 160 something episodes and not watch it dubbed. Like I'm not paying attention to it.
I was going to say, I don't think you would even like have the ability to care enough.
Yeah, I don't.
To absorb. Like,
because especially with this show, like again, everybody who has I've ever mentioned this to, including our friend group, are like, why the fuck are you watching Inuyasha? Like, why would you do that to yourself? And I'm like, it's
so good.
And I'm like, look, I understand why people can look at it that way, but it's just generic 90s. Like, it's not awful.
It's
good.
It's
just generic.
I love it.
And like, I'm having enough fun with it, but like, if I had to be like paying attention to it in a sub, I would probably be having a way worse time.
Right.
Because like, they repeat a bunch of shit. It's all the same kind of thing, and like, and it would just be annoying.
Yeah.
But I can just watch it while doing something else. So like it makes it way easier to digest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Fun.
So I guess Sage will maybe start watching Inuyasha.
Yeah, we'll come back for an Inuyasha episode.
Yeah. We can, and maybe we'll have Kieran on too.
Oh my god, that would be so much fun.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. Don't forget to check out Kat the Moonstar on Twitch. You have 4 weeks to watch One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Not One Piece.
Not One Piece.
One
I
Punch
mean, if
Man.
you want to try and watch One Piece in 4 weeks, by all means, tell us how you did in the comments. But I don't know if you need to torture yourself like that.
Yeah, so One Punch Man, 4 weeks. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, like, follow, and we will see you next week for whatever we talk about. Bye.